Leslie Ann Hackman, one of Gene's 3 children, told the Daily Mail that she and her sister Elizabeth Gene speculated that they have died due to a carbon monoxide leak. I know my health. Why would I be looking at my health records? You know what I mean? I know my health. Why would I need that? Somebody came and interrupted. And this is somebody that was able to get in. That may be where the monthly planner came in. For some sort of insurance. Somebody was looking for something, I think, in those records. But this is my problem. This is whatever this is a far cry from this. Okay, jumping back in on this Gene Hackman thing. It's an article that I read. Investigators reveal drugs and stunning document found inside of Gene Hackman's home after his death. Famous actor passes away at the age of 95. I found this article really interesting. And I guess I'll show you why. So let me try to make it bigger so you can read along if you'd like. I know it's a little small. Okay. Yeah, it's too big. I don't know. Anyways, but this was, I think about 1:14 Central Standard Time, 2:28. So back in several days ago. So details continue to emerge as to what investigators found inside of Gene Hackman's home after the famed actor was found dead along with his wife and dog. The bodies of the 95-year-old actor and wife Betsy Arakawa were found in their Santa Fe, New Mexico mansion on Wednesday as questions continue regarding the circumstances of their untimely passing.
Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman has died at 95, leaving Hollywood in mourning. Authorities found
Very much looking like a shell of himself, obviously older. Very much looking 95. 2 people minding their business.
Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and their dog dead in their New Mexico home. Investigators say no foul play is suspected, but the circumstances remain unclear. A 5-time Oscar nominee, Hackman defined an era with The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums. He stepped away from acting in the early 2000s, but his legacy never faded. Just days before the Oscars, Hollywood says goodbye to one of its greatest icons.
Can be taken advantage of. While the cause of death continues to be a mystery, police have ordered autopsies and toxicology tests. Investigators searched the home on Thursday and found thyroid medication and diltiazem inside, along with Tylenol. This doesn't move me unless it's for pain. As for Arakawa, her body was found dead on the floor of the couple's bathroom. Open bottle of prescription pills found scattered on a nearby countertop. Also found was a 2025 month calendar planner, which indicated the couple were looking to the future, as well as 2 green phones in the couple's health records. So you stopped her in the middle of doing something. My 2025 calendar is out, and I have 2 green phones. I don't know what those are, in the couple's health records. Now, why would, what's her name? Betsy. Why would Betsy be looking at the health records? Just strewn about on the counter of the bathroom. is what I'm wondering. Why would Betsy be looking at the health records? You got 2 green phones here, and you got a 2025 calendar. I can't wait for the autopsy because this particular part does not make sense to me. I know my health. Why would I be looking at my health records? You know what I mean? I know my health. Why would I need that? Unless I'm getting ready to call or make a call. But I'm wondering if the health records are bought out again for some sort of insurance money, or to try to check and see. Somebody was looking for something, I think, in those records. So I need you to go get the records. So I'm downstairs and Gene is isolated. Whoever comes in, I'm downstairs and Gene is isolated in the mudroom. I isolate him. I get him out the way. He's taken care of. Betsy comes down, sees what's going on, or she's by, sees what's going on, possibly held at gunpoint. Pull out the pacemaker, I think, if I'm understanding the use of pacemakers. Pull out the pacemaker. You essentially die out, if I'm understanding correctly. Let me just look that up. So the pacemaker is a medical device implanted in the body to regulate the heart's rhythm. This is what I didn't really know that much about the pacemaker. I just know that you need it. If you have it, you need it. Its primary purpose is to ensure that the heart beats at a normal and steady rate, particularly for individuals with conditions that cause bradycardia, slow heart rate, or irregular heart rhythms. So it's there to regulate your heart rate, prevent slow heart rates, treat irregular heart rhythms, support heart failure in patients, or support heart failure patients, and prevent fainting and fatigue. Typically implanted under the skin. Concerned about if you can die if a pacemaker is unplugged, and it seems like the answer is yes. If a pacemaker is disconnected, turned off, or it's malfunctioning, can lead to serious consequences, including death, depending on the individual's heart condition. So for people it could be under 3 conditions for people who are completely dependent on it. If the heart cannot generate an adequate rhythm on its own, unplugging it or disabling it can be fatal because you're not getting good blood circulation. Those partially dependent, it's only assisting the heart functioning. You also have a risk of organ failure. Stopped or slow heartbeat can lead to decreased oxygen delivery to the brain and other organs, potentially causing permanent damage. So this is somebody who is aware of Gene's condition. They come in, they don't have to get Gene first, but they do. They come in and they get Gene first in the mudroom, because I assume the mudroom is downstairs. So they come in and they get Gene first. Either they unplug the pacemaker, so we should be able to find fingerprints on that if that was the case, or they get him to do it, or they get Betsy to do it. So that's gonna take him out. But then, the dog, Betsy's probably frantic. Oh my God, please don't do this to us. And then their dog gets excited, barking and carrying on, and, maybe getting in the way and maybe being protective. And so the dog's got to die. We don't see, or they don't talk to us about if there are bullet wounds in the dog or anything. They just said the dog's found it. So this is a person who is moving very, if there are no bullet wounds, then this is a person who is moving very efficiently. This person came prepared, but we don't know what they took. That's my only thing. We don't know what they took, what they were looking for. And if they came in and they said, okay, now, Betsy, let's go get your medical records. And they did that, and they saw maybe everything that they needed to know. Now maybe give me your last will and testament, or give me your information on your insurance. That's what I'm wondering. Investigators completed autopsies on Thursday morning, as well as toxicology report, though these final results are not yet available. Leslie Ann Hackman, one of Gene's 3 children, told the Daily Mail that she and her sister Elizabeth Gene speculated that they have died due to a carbon monoxide leak. You know, when I first read this article and I saw that, I was like, a carbon monoxide leak? Was there, and I guess I'm speculating, I guess I'm wondering because it's like, was there a carbon monoxide leak reported in New Mexico at that time? So this article, New Mexico Gas Company shares findings from investigation at Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's home. This was on March 4th, updated on the 5th. Okay. Santa Fe, New Mexico Gas Company found 5 issues during their investigation at the home of Gene and Betsy, but they are not believed to be a factor in the deaths. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office said Tuesday Hackman, Arakawa, and their dog were found dead inside the home on Old Sunset Trail in Santa Fe. New Mexico Gas Company was called to the home the night of the investigation and ran tests on the property's gas line. New Mexico Gas Company told sheriffs Monday that while there were no significant findings in the investigation for gas leaks or carbon monoxide, they issued 5 red tags at Hackman and Arakawa's home. The sheriff's office wrote in a news release on Tuesday. According to officials, one of the red tags was because of one minuscule leak, 0.33% gas in the air, which is not lethal amount, according to the news release from the sheriff. 4 other red tags issued by the gas company were for code enforcement violations not involved in gas leak or carbon monoxide. Sheriff's office said those tags were issued for a water heater and gas log lighters installed 3 fireplaces. Those results are not believed to be a factor in the deaths of either Betsy and Gene or the dog, as is relayed to the medical investigator for consideration. Hackman was found on the floor alongside his walking cane and sunglasses. Did they come from somewhere? Arakawa, 65, was found on the bathroom floor near a space heater. Deputies, was she on her back or was she face down? Was he on his back or face down? Deputies also found an open prescription bottle, pills scattered. In the bathroom closet, thank you, they found one of the couple's 3 dogs dead, according to search warrant. Deputies found 2 other dogs alive on the property. So I wonder if those dogs were out of the way, and that one dog was in the way. Santa Fe County Sheriff said that both Hackman and Arakawa tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning. There's no trauma to the bodies, as I suspected. They're not going to be poisoned. No. Investigators initially noted in the search warrant affidavit that there were no issues with gas pipes, no signs of carbon monoxide. While carrying out the search warrant at the home, investigators seized Tylenol, thyroid medication to treat high blood pressure. Other items removed included health records, monthly planner, and 2 cell phones. Just want to understand if they're going to tell me a little bit more about what was found. In the affidavit. Next to Arakawa on the floor was a space heater that appeared to have been moved. Deputies also found open prescription pills scattered. German Shepherd dog was found. I think that was the mix. Was found dead in a crate in a closet of the bathroom, about 10 to 15 feet. 2 other dogs are there. No obvious signs of indication of foul play. No immediate signs. Haven't ruled anything out yet. Okay, an autopsy was performed. Initial findings noted no external trauma to either individual. Sheriff's office, no in the toxicology, with that carbon monoxide toxicology tests were requested. Those are pending. From what I understand, there's a gentleman that was doing pest control work that had gone to the Hackman residence. He noticed that they weren't home, which was odd. I guess, and as far as he was concerned, he made contact with security there, either patrolling or in the subdivision. And then it was the security officer that went to the house and had discovered the individuals. So basically, essentially, they had things going on. So somebody came and interrupted. Somebody snuck in, came and interrupted. And this is somebody that was able to get in. That may be where the monthly planner came in to say, okay, we have pest control coming at this time, so we need to understand what's going on or coming in. 911 call. I think we just found 2 or 1 deceased person inside the house. Not sure inside the house. It's closed. It's locked. I can't go in. But I see she's laying down on the floor from the window. Caller explained. According to the search warrant, 2 maintenance workers who were at the home told deputies that they last spoke to the homeowners 2 weeks ago. Saying that they mainly communicated with Arakawa via text or phone. Detective noted in the search warrant the deputies did not see any signs of forced entry of the home. Nothing out of place, nothing missing. We are right on track. Search warrant was executed at 10 p.m. last night. And so they have been working diligently, starting again that night through the night, starting again in the morning to completely process the scene. And so these are preliminary steps. We don't see any obvious signs of leak or poisoning. New Mexico came out and said, we don't see anything either. I can confirm that we provide natural gas services and, yep. Sheriff's office continuing their investigation surrounding the death of these 2. Going to hold a press conference later, 3 p.m. Trying to ensure the safety of the 2 dogs. I appreciate this because we're right on track. Okay, New Mexico gas company responded. They didn't find anything. This is what kind of threw me off when I read it the first time. I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't know why it threw me off. But that's what threw me off the first time. Because here we are going about our business, talking about, these 2 people are killed. I want a legitimate theory when we talk about it. And I don't want, any nonsense when we're talking about this. You know what I mean? Like give me a real theory as to what you think happened. And Leslie Ann Hackman jumps up and she says, huh, I speculate, we speculate that they died due to carbon monoxide. What would make you speculate that? Why would we think that there was carbon? That would have been something that you would have thought about on the ground. You know what I mean? Like when I say you're on the ground, like you're close to the scene. Like, I mean, you can't smell carbon monoxide from in a gas leak from 2 miles away. I would suspect you would have to be there to notice that there was anything wrong in terms of carbon monoxide or a gas leak. Who bought up carbon? And that's what I was looking for. I was like, was there a gas leak in the area? Or something like that? Do we have any evidence or records that Gene was calling and saying, babe, daughters, Leslie, Elizabeth, I am your stepmom, maybe that's their stepmom, your stepmom and I, we are experiencing those aren't her kids. We are experiencing a carbon monoxide leak here. So if anything happens to us, those aren't her kids. I wonder what Betsy's relationship was with. When did they get married? Okay. So, born in San Bernardino. He was with Faye. He was with his first wife, Faye, from 56 to 86. Divorced her. Got married in 91 to Betsy and stayed with Betsy for the remainder. Hackman was married to his first wife, Faye Maltese, from 56 to 86. Couple welcomed 3 children. Christopher, 5 years after the split with Maltese, who died in 2017. Hackman wed Arakawa. 5 years, yes. 5 years after their split in 86. She died in 2017. Over the years, he remained quiet, and this is from People magazine, about his personal life, about his children in interviews. 89, he told film critic John C. Tibbetts audiences were drawn to him because he could be perceived as a common man. I'd like to keep my personal life fairly common so that in my art, one can let go and one can soar. Hackman, who announced his retirement in 2004, reflected with Larry King when Larry King asked how he was able to handle transition from sparse career to an illustrious one. I didn't handle it very well, really. He said, I took care of my family. My family's never wanted for anything, but because I was so enamored of the Hollywood of old, the glamour of that, although I never involved myself in that, I was really so taken with that, the fact that I was part of that and that I could be anything and anyone I wanted to be. Hackman gave rare comments about his adult children in August of 2000, crediting them for his decision to continue acting rather than opting for a role behind the camera. After acquiring the rights to Silence of the Lambs, with the intention of making his debut as a director, he ultimately turned the job down, a choice he said he did not regret. I don't have any second thoughts about that decision. My kids helped me see that it just wasn't the best thing for me to do. He also acknowledged that it was tough being a child of a celebrity, adding, I could always be home with them when they were growing up, and then living in California, they've had my success always hanging over their heads. Christopher Allen Hackman is 65. When Drake asked Hackman if there was a day he stopped hugging his son, then in his 20s, and opted for a handshake instead, he replied, "No, we still hug. And thank God we're able to do that." I don't think we'll ever get to the point to where we have to shake hands. He's telling Drake about his son. Elizabeth Jean is 63. Welcomed her in 62. Seldom discusses his family in interviews. I used to have to borrow my daughter's car to go to interviews in Hollywood. I was just barely hanging in, taking pretty much anything that was offered to me and trying to make it work. As children, Elizabeth and her younger sister Leslie were photographed sitting on their dad's lap while he donned LA Dodgers jersey. Elizabeth also attended several events with her father, the chamber in Beverly Hills, alongside her sister and her stepmother. After her father's death, Elizabeth told TMZ that the family suspects toxic fumes like carbon monoxide may be to blame. And then Leslie Ann is 58. They're almost exclusively with me to my children in terms of how I worked on it. In terms of the misunderstandings between the father and the children, he said of his role, "My youngest daughter has seen the film and she was very affected by it." Okay, let me go back up. Hackman and Maltese welcomed their third child in October of 66. Like her older siblings, not much is known about her. In 84, journalist Bobby Wygant spoke to Hackman about his movie Misunderstood and asked if the movie touched him more as a father or as a son who had a fraught relationship with his own dad. They're almost exclusively with me to my children in terms of how I worked on it, in terms of the misunderstandings between the father and the children, he said of his role. "My youngest daughter has seen the film and she was very affected by it. But I think that she was affected because it was a film, not because I was in it. She liked it as a film and she recommended it to her girlfriends and they're going to see a screening of it this week. She was very taken with it and I hope the older children are too." Leslie has been photographed with her father over the years, including at these different premieres. But she reported that so she's 58, and she reported with her sister, who is 63, that there was a possible gas leak. Why would there be that? Fire people came and, I'm sorry, the gas leak company or the gas company came and said, no, wouldn't even think of it. I mean, there was some stuff related to the water heater, but wouldn't have even thought of a gas leak. I mean, if there was anything going on with the gas, then I wonder, did they even smell gas? No, they didn't. Apparently, I mean, they probably just checked the line and said, well, we see a little bit of leakage, but nothing too big, which makes me wonder, did somebody open up the line or something like that? I mean, I'm not a gas leak person. You tell me how it works, but wondering, did somebody open up the line and just be like, boom, let a little bit more gas in, wear a mask, boom, let a little gas in, turn the gas down and head on out. Gene, take out your pacemaker. Pull out that pacemaker. His heart can't, because that's an easy way to get him, because it's like unprompted. How do you say there's a possible gas leak? Who else is saying that? Because think about this. When the security guard shows up and gets in and he's looking from the outside, there's not gas just pouring out of the house to where it's like, oh my God, you can smell gas from the outside. You know, that's not there. And even when investigators went in, they weren't like, oh my goodness, we're just overwhelmed with the smell of gas. You see what I'm saying? Like, when I first read this article, I was like, and they said, oh, the daughter said, there could be gas. And I was like, check her. Check her. Talk to her. Bring her in. Oh, but she's here working with us. I don't care. Come on. Let's go on head down to the station. Me and you gonna have a conversation. Get some out of y'all one way or the other, because we need to look at what they had in terms of valuables, in terms of monetary value. Was there a conversation had to where they needed money, they needed support for something, and there was a small argument in terms of, babe, I'm not giving you any more money. You're a grown woman. I can't take care of you anymore. You should be well on your way to take care of yourself. Or something along the lines of, hey, this house was supposed to be left. Because I wonder, because if he's on a pacemaker, I wonder if they're looking to see, okay, somebody's pulling down those records and they're looking to see, because whoever's coming in has to know the dogs to be able to corral the dogs and move the dogs out of the way. And maybe you get the 2 dogs out of the way, but you don't know where the 3rd dog is. And when you're pushing the dogs up, you see what I'm saying? When you're pushing the dogs up to kind of handle, okay, the dog's out of the way and we're pushing Betsy up to kind of handle that. I wonder if that dog comes out, and then maybe that's the favorite dog of Betsy, that dog comes out and it's like, dang, I didn't know you were here. I had to put you outside, because I don't want to kill you, but now you're in here and I have to. So if I turn up the gas leak, because I'm telling you, if there's no pills found in this woman's body, man, I gotta look at the autopsy report. Okay, so this is an article on the celebrity news, I guess. Eileen Reslin, March 7th, 4/16. New Mexico officials held a press conference Friday to provide updates on the tragic deaths of Gene and Betsy. Results, an autopsy performed on February 27th revealed that Arakawa died from Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare rodent transmitted virus. The manner of death was natural. Meanwhile, the cause of death for Hackman was cardiac event, of course, and evidence of advanced Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributor. New Mexico chief medical examiner did not confirm that he had a heart attack, but noted that he could have had an abnormal heart rhythm. He had a very extensive heart disease, so he would have been predisposed to abnormal rhythms. Well, I mean, yeah, we know that. Hence why he had a pacemaker. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, of course. But why would the pacemaker be off? They believe he was alone with his wife for 7 days before he died. It's quite possible Hackman did not know Arakawa was dead given his mental state. The autopsy found that no food was in his stomach, meaning that he had not recently eaten. Mendoza added that there's no indication that a couple had caretaker in the home and there was no outside surveillance or inside surveillance on the property that police are aware of. Oh, really? That big 9,000 square foot home and they ain't got no cameras? What? Nothing outside or inside? This is a 95-year-old man on a pacemaker? And this woman apparently has some rare disease from a rodent? And they don't have any way for their children. Like, come on, bro. I know kids that have cameras in their parents' home. I don't. But I know kids that have cameras in their parents' home to watch them. Man, and this man didn't have no cameras in his house, inside or outside of his property, so anybody could just pop up on his property free? During the presser, officials confirmed they identified signals of rodent entry in the property, which could have led to the Hantavirus spreading to Arakawa. Testing for Hantavirus was negative for Hackman. come on. You got it. All right. Dr. Aaron, they're married. He has Alzheimer's. So she's got to be near him. He needs her. Anywhere he is, she's going to be. How did she get caught with it from a rodent and he didn't? What is it, like a rodent bite? We're aware of this, but it's not unusual and should not cause public concern. Mendoza recounted Arakawa's final whereabouts before she died, noting on February 9th she picked up her dog, Xena, from the vet. This is the same canine that was found dead. 2 days later, on February 11th, Arakawa ran errands, went to the farmer's market, was seen on surveillance video at a local CVS pharmacy, and also went to a pet food store. She used her clicker later that afternoon to gain access to her property. Police said her last known email activity was on that day. She concluded that law enforcement considers in an open investigation, he said they have loose ends to tie up regarding the phone data and are unable to pinpoint exact dates of death for each. I have questions. This is the first update in the case. In a week, last Friday, Mendoza shared in a press conference that Hackman's Pacemaker tracked his last event 9 days before Arakawa. He and Arakawa were found, providing a clue that, as the late actor's time of death, the details surrounding this have been a mystery. An individual arrived to perform maintenance on the residence, became concerned after receiving no answer, contacted security. Security checked the residence and observed they were on the ground unresponsive. Man, she's fine. She's in good health. He was on the floor near the kitchen, appeared to have fallen as his sunglasses were next to him. Hollywood stars, people recently, friends told people that recently his health had been slipping. Recent months, he had stopped bike riding through the neighborhood. She was found on the ground. She appeared to have fallen as well. Her body was already in a state of decomposition. She was found mummification, her hands and feet bloating in her face. They both appeared to have fallen. Come on, man. Hold on, bruh. Hold on. Hantavirus, pulmonary syndrome, is a rare infectious disease that begins with flu-like symptoms and progresses rapidly to more severe disease. It can lead to life-threatening lung and heart problems. The disease is also called hantavirus cardiopulmonary syndrome. Several strains of the virus can cause hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. They are carried by different types of rodents. The most common carrier is the deer mouse. Infection is usually caused by inhaling it. Inhaling hantaviruses that have become airborne from the rodent. Okay, urine, dropping, saliva. Because treatment options are limited, the best protection against this is to avoid contact with rodents, safely clean up rodent habitats. The time from the infection with the hantavirus to the start of the illness is usually about 2 to 3 weeks. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome advances through the two distinct stages. In the first stage, which can last for several days, the most common signs and symptoms are fever and chills, muscle aches and pains, headache, nausea, stomach pain, vomiting, diarrhea, cough, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure, irregular heart rate. So she did have blood pressure medicine. As the disease progresses, it can lead to damaged lung tissues, fluid buildup in the lungs, and serious problems with lung and heart functions. Signs and symptoms may include these: see a doctor, and the signs and symptoms of this can worsen suddenly and may quickly become life-threatening. If you have flu-like symptoms that progressively worsen over a few days, see your healthcare provider. Causes: rodent carriers. It's a human disease found only in North and South America. Each strain of the virus has preferred rodent carrier. If this is the case, then you got rodents all over the house. Why Gene don't have it? Why the cops didn't walk into it? The cops might need to be checked. There's no hope for them. The deer mouse is the most common carrier of the virus in the U.S., and infections occur in the states west of the Mississippi. Other carriers in North America include the rice rat and cotton rat in the southeast and the white-footed mouse in northeast. Rodent carriers in South America include the rice rat and the Vesper mouse. Transmission: virus is present in rodents' urine, feces, or saliva. You can come in contact with the virus in the following ways: inhaling it, the most likely form of transmission when they become airborne in disturbed rodent droppings or nesting materials, eating food contaminated with mouse saliva, urine, or droppings, touching things contaminated with it, such as a nest, or touching your mouth, eyes, and nose, being bitten or scratched. Person-to-person transmission has only been recorded with the strain. Bruh. This is her husband, and he don't have it. This is her husband, and he doesn't have it. That is her husband. I know she's kissed him. If she's inhaled it, then he's inhaled it. You're telling me that the pacemaker got him. They've been in the house the exact same amount of time. And if it's airborne, then they're both in the same. She's taking him everywhere in the house that she's going. And if it's airborne, then it got to him as well as getting to, if it got to her, it got to him. And if she's got it and she doesn't know, then she's kissing him with it. Kissing it, whether it's on the cheek, whatever. She's kissing him, and okay, it doesn't transmit through your cheek. Okay, I got that. But if it's airborne, then they both gonna get it. Person-to-person transmission has only been recorded with a strain of the virus found in South America called Andes virus. Effects of the virus: when it reaches the lungs, they invade the tiny blood cells called the capillaries, eventually causing them to leak. Your lungs fill with fluid, pulmonary edema, resulting in the severe dysfunction of the lungs and the heart. Another disease caused by the different strains of it, called the hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. Risk factors in the U.S. It's most common in rural areas. Okay, in the West. Okay. However, any exposure to rodent habitats can increase the risk. Common sites: rodent nest, urine droppings, farm buildings, infrequently used buildings such as storage, campers and seasonal cabins, campsites, hiking sites, attics, basements, construction sites. Activities that can increase the risk include opening and cleaning long unused buildings, of course, cleaning up rodent nests or droppings without appropriate precaution, working in a field that increases exposure to rodents such as construction, utility, and such as that. Prevention: reduce nesting, set traps, close the food buffet, block access, move rodent-friendly yard items, air out any unused spaces. And this is what I'm saying. This is my problem. I'm gonna shut it down right there. But this is my problem. This is whatever this is a far cry from a carbon monoxide leak. That is two different things. Completely different things. And that's what I'm saying. This is something that would have affected both of them. If it were a leak, it would have affected both of them. But now we're looking at the case to where the pacemaker is unplugged. That affects him. Even though she died from this, he had to have inhaled this. There's no way he could have escaped. Unless he had a pacemaker like this, something like this. I don't know. This would have stopped it, I would think. But I think most pacemakers are something like this. They're plugged in the body. So they have to be they're in the heart or something like this. Pacemaker has to be installed here, whatever. So this has to be unplugged or something like that. Okay. Small battery powered device. I just want to see. Just want to see what's going on.
A surgeon will insert a pacemaker into your body if your heart's conduction system, the electrical system that makes your heart beat, is not working properly.
Mm-hmm.
The heart is a muscular organ with 4 chambers. Blood collects in the heart's 2 upper chambers, or atria, before filling the 2 lower chambers, or ventricles. When the ventricles contract, blood in the right ventricle is pumped to the lungs, and blood in the left ventricle is pumped to the rest of the body. The heart has a natural pacemaker called the sinoatrial node, or SA node. The pacemaker controls the heart rate by precisely determining when the muscles of the atria and ventricles contract. The electrical signal produced by the SA node reaches the ventricles through a narrow pathway that includes the so-called AV node and bundle branches. Taken together, these pathways are referred to as the conduction system of the heart. Problems with the conduction system can result if the SA node malfunctions, causing the heart to beat too fast, too slow, or irregularly.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, a blockage in the bundle branches can develop, causing the heart to beat more slowly or irregularly.
Mm-hmm.
These problems can be due to heart disease, medications, or cardiac surgery. Before the procedure, your blood and urine will be tested. You will also have X-rays taken of your chest, and an electrocardiogram, or EKG, will record the electrical activity in your heart. A local anesthetic will be injected into your skin to numb the area where the pacemaker will be inserted. The surgeon will make a small incision beneath your collarbone. The pacemaker's leads will be inserted into the subclavian vein and then threaded toward your heart until they reach the right atrium. Your surgeon will view X-ray images on a video screen to position the leads correctly. Once the leads have been tested, they will be connected to the pulse generator. The pulse generator will then be placed in a small pouch that your surgeon will create under the skin beneath your collarbone. Your surgeon will then sew the incision back together. While you're in the hospital, your doctor will monitor your heart rate and blood pressure to be certain the pacemaker is working properly. Before you leave, he or she will make final adjustments to the pacemaker settings. After your procedure, over-the-counter pain medications such as acetaminophen or ibuprofen should be sufficient to relieve any pain.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be able to drive for about 2 weeks. Periodically, you will need to follow up with your doctor to test and adjust.
Okay. So essentially, as I thought before, somebody had to get in. Either somebody got in and dismantled or disabled or unplugged that pacemaker. But she was somewhere else because they had to be isolated. If he was coming in from a walk, because you can't say, oh, he was unaware that, like one article said, he was unaware that she was dead. No, because they came out. He went out. How could he go out walking by himself if he has Alzheimer's? And if he snapped back into a place where he could remember then he's going to be like, where's my wife at? He's not just going to go out for a walk and then make it back and be like, oh, I made it back home and I remembered how to do my clicker and get back in here. And now I got to the door and I forgot. Possible, but likely, I don't know. Because my grandmother had dementia. And every now and again, she would snap back in. Every now and again. But for the most part, you had to be there to watch her. So the fact that not only, it's essentially what happened was, I'm thinking what happened was, somebody said, okay, pacemaker, boom. Either because she may have, if there is no foul play, if I'm to believe that there's no foul play, then they came in from a walk. She said, oh, babe, I'm feeling bad. You know, let me go upstairs and get the blood pressure medicine. But how did the dog die? You see what I'm saying? I would think that somebody said, boom, Gene, you're done. Goodbye. And then they go upstairs with the, because then the dog would have died as well. But how did the other dogs, you see what I'm saying? Are the other dogs not house dogs or something like that? You see what I'm saying? Because, okay, well, the dog could have also got the disease. Okay, well, what's a human disease? You know, number one, number two, and even if it's an animal disease, you know, that dog died, but the other dogs didn't die. I'm confused. I still think that there was somebody who led him upstairs, said, boom, I got you. I don't think the virus did this. Maybe the virus got in her system, but I don't think the virus did this. And if the virus did this, then this was orchestrated by somebody who was aware of the virus, separated, came in, was there to walk him or help him, knew that she was going to fall out 2 or 3 weeks later. And maybe the dog as well, or the dog has been poisoned with something, or they had that stuff bottled up or whatever. I don't know how it works. That would be more research. But anyways, something to think about. But yeah, man, I definitely, but this recommendation is nowhere near what they died from. Neither one of them had this in their system. So to call up or to tell the Daily Mail that, not even the cops, but to tell the Daily Mail that we speculate, nowhere near. They didn't even have that problem. You see what I'm saying? That's just, to me, that's just like saying, oh, we speculate that my dad may have died from, you know, cancer. He doesn't have cancer. That's nowhere in the neighborhood. Why would he die from cancer? It's weird. So anyways, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. And that's the video. Until next time, take it easy.